Hey, Vishal.
I
Oh, look at you back in the dream room.
Yeah, I just got the key right now.
Nice. So did you find that online somewhere and thought it would be sort of nostalgic to go back to the office virtually?
Yeah, I was conflicted between the Pong photo. Like there was a photo of the field with the Pong table and then the dream room. But yeah, definitely like excited.
Great. Well, hey, welcome to Five Questions with Kory.
Yeah, super excited. I've seen the video, so it's exciting.
All right. Well, so I'm going to start out with, so the reason I'm in an airplane virtually is, you moved here from India. And so part of this is an international flavor. So pretending that I'm flying back there with you. So you grew up in a small town in India. I remember the first time we met, I'd mentioned that I'd actually been to that town. And I think you were quite taken back by that, that I'd actually ever heard of Tenali and Vijayawada and those areas of India. So it's a two-part question. One, growing up in India, obviously very different than growing up here. So what did you want to be when you were growing up in India?
Oh, that's I used to feel. I mean, it used to like. I think Michael said it once. It's pretty consistent with how I felt. It was I wanted to be something every other day, and it used to change all the time. I think at one point I was drawing a lot of cartoons and sending it to Disney and Cartoon Network at that point, and they would send me cool swag, and I would feel like, oh, okay, I think I could be like an illustrator. And the other time I would be like gardening with my grandparents, and it would be pretty exciting, and I would be like, I think this is what I want to do. I want to be into agriculture and continue doing that. So it's been like a lot of
That's a pretty wide range. Illustrator for Disney or a gardener. That's, you left yourself a lot of room between there to figure out what you want to do with your career.
exactly, yeah, I think I let myself explore, I guess. I just
Nice.
want to explore different things.
So the follow-up question for India. So for those that haven't been there, which are probably going to be a lot of people that watch this video, could you describe what it's like to drive in a small town in India?
I'd say it's chaos. It's a controlled chaos. uh, but yeah, I'd say I'll emphasize on control because it's chaotic. People are coming all over the place. There are like animals on the streets as well, but everything is somehow in some sort of harmony, or like some sort of a sync that's happening. So that was very interesting, sure. So it's yeah.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing when I went there. Like controlled chaos is probably a perfect way to describe that. And I could not for the life of me understand where the control came from because there were, motor rickshaws and motorcycles where there were five people riding on them. And then you had cows and chickens all mixed in there. And there's no street lights, there's no lines. And even if they were just suggestions. Nobody was really following them.
Well,
And the entire time I was there, I never saw a single accident other than when I probably almost caused one. But other than that, anyway, it's an interesting experience for those that haven't done that. Would highly encourage it. It's interesting. It's life changing.
yeah. And the best part is, I went to India after driving here in the States. Uh, in 2018, I
Yep.
couldn't drive in India because I lost that control chaos.
So you lost the connection to all of those things around you when you moved back to America, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next question is, so moving from India to America to attend college, what were your expectations of what it would be like to move to a different country? So you've got different culture, different food. Like, what was that like? What were your expectations?
I think in terms of expectations, I was super excited to be experiencing a different culture. I've seen a lot of life in US in TV shows or movies, but that was it. And I think to be able to be a part of that, to be interacting with a lot of people, I think I was very excited about that. The second key thing that I was super excited about was the food, because I think, like I said, TV shows and movies, they emphasize a lot of uh, lot of it on movies, at least from what I was watching at that time. So definitely, like, I think that was the first thing that I wanted. Even on the Delta flight that I was coming in, we had this option either to choose Indian food or like the American food, which had like bacon and stuff in it. So I wanted to try the American food for sure.
Wow. I just want to apologize for America by for you having to experience the first version of American food on a flight, because that I'm not sure that was a really good representation, but at least it was a start. So um, I guess what do you miss most about India is the first part of the question, and then the second part of that would be what have you enjoyed most about living in America?
Okay, in terms of what I've missed back in India is definitely the people because my family is there. So definitely I miss hanging out with them regularly. I mean, it used to be a couple of weeks back in India, meeting them to like it's more of a years now. Uh, that's one. And the other is definitely more of the street food. I really love street food. So it's very
Hmm.
hard to find street food around here. So that's the other part that I miss. And I'm sorry, I missed the second question.
The second part is what have you enjoyed most about living here and moving here?
Oh, there's like I think I can write a book on that. I think there's so many things that I enjoyed after moving to US. It's right down to the education, the quality of education itself, the people that I met at school, and from there the type of people that I work with every day. I think the excitement around the things that we work on, it's it's contagious for sure. I mean, I feel a lot more energized working with everyone at Keep. So the people are very kind, very approachable, and also like I think the biggest thing that I enjoy or like really value that I got from just being here in the States is the value of time. I think
Mm.
uh, the time is more like a, how do I say it's not very fixed in India. When I was growing up, for me, it was like if there's a 9 a.m. thing or a 9 p.m. Time that is decided for me to meet a friend, I wouldn't be there at 9 p.m. I would be like somewhere around 9:30 or 10. And I didn't have the concept of going late and thinking that, oh shoot, I just am disrespecting that person because that's that person's time. And that changed drastically after moving here because everyone is very particular about respecting the other person's time. And that's definitely like a huge thing that I love about people here as well as like learn for myself.
Yeah, that I had kind of forgotten about that. I went over there with a group of people from Chandler, and that was a big adjustment for us because we were used to like, hey, if it says we're going to be there at this time, and it's really more of a suggestion. It's like, well, we're going to start thinking about leaving at that time, but it might be a half an hour or maybe even sometimes an hour after that before we're arriving. So we adjusted though.
Yeah.
So switching gears a little bit from the international focus to you attended University of Michigan. So you got your master's degree there in a UX field. You've now been working at Keep for a little over a year and a half. So looking back to when you left the University of Michigan and started here, what do you think you have learned working at Keep that they didn't teach you in college about, the UX profession?
I would say a lot of things in terms of the product design role itself, especially some of the things that we learned in school was in a frozen design process cycle. So it's like, you're following a linear process and there's like no failure anywhere. You're like mocking the failure at each stage to get that experience. But I think working at Keep, the biggest learning and the experience that I've had that has like improved my whole product design skills as well is there's like setbacks going to happen at every stage of the design process. Maybe not at all times, but sometimes it could happen. How do you like work through that? You're not alone. Again, that's the another big thing that if you're like struggling at one phase, you have like so many people that you can reach out to and get help. That was something that I learned as well. So definitely like collaboration and being able to be flexible about the design process and being very intentional about the design process. I mean, design process changes across the projects that we work on. I remember like I think I reached out to Brandon at one point when I was designing the App Store assets for QuickBooks, and he shared me like a very concise design process that he did for the Play Store uh, asset design. And that was the time when I realized, oh shoot, design process doesn't have to be like this double diamond thing where you're going through each step in the process. Depending on the thing that you're working on, you can compress or like
Mm.
expand different focus areas. So that was definitely like a huge learning.
That's great insight. I love hearing that. Yeah, and even the part about collaboration, something I've always wanted to, want to instill in the team is that all of us are better than one of us, right? Like we're all really good individually, but we're so much better when we're working together.
Exactly.
Right. So last question is the same question I asked everyone. What are you looking forward to most in 2021 in terms of keeping what you're doing in your role?
I think definitely being on track for the Mars 2030 mission. I think I am a lot more excited and energized about the progress of the Keep as a product. And it's exciting because everyone has that excitement. And like I said, it's contagious to be in that atmosphere where you feel that energy, where everyone is like working on that. And at the same time, there's the focus on the small business owners. They've been through a lot in 2020. There's like a lot of uncertainty around that. And as an organization, I feel very confident that we are aware of that, and we're not trying to like push something on them, but we're trying to be with them and work with them in their challenges and their successes. So we're like with them in their success as well as their failure. The failure piece is very critical because if you just leave customer hanging on the failure phase, they may never recover. But we are very focused on that. So that is a very amazing thing. And that's something that I'm excited about. I think like the interconnectivity stuff, that's huge because we are trying to like take Keep to your business, and you how do you run your business fits into the things that like Keep has, like the different feature sets that we have.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, that's the end of our 5 questions. And I want to thank you. And I always love spending time with you. I love the attitude and the passion and the joy that you bring to what you do and how that just radiates to everyone else that you work with. So I'm excited for people that haven't had a chance to meet you to get a chance to meet you on the video today. And hopefully once we get back in the office, they'll meet you in person.
Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. I was nervous, honestly, because I wasn't sure the questions that you would ask. But this was a lot of fun. And enjoy your flight.
Yeah, I'll be landing soon. I'll let you know when I land. All right. Thanks, Vishal.
Thanks.
Later.
Yeah.
Next time I will take you on my bike. Bike better.
Yes. I will go